Today we will be talking about the effect of exercise, regular exercise, on various systems of our body. We will be dealing with circulatory system, respiratory system, muscular system and skeletal system. Now let us briefly understand about our circulatory system. Human circulatory system consists of heart and blood vessels. The red blood vessels known as arteries, carries pure blood, that is the blood which is rich in oxygen, and the blue blood vessels carry impure blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. Our heart is divided into 4 chambers: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. These chambers, as well as the pulmonary artery and aorta, these are guarded by valves. These valves are open to only one side: the tricuspid valve, mitral valve, pulmonary valve and aortic valve. These valves regulates the flow of blood. Impure blood from our body, that is blood which is rich in carbon dioxide, is carried by veins and reaches the right atrium. From there the blood goes to the right ventricle, and from there the blood is passed on to lungs through pulmonary arteries. In lungs, this impure blood becomes pure with the addition of oxygen which we take in through our respiration. This pure blood then is pumped back to the left atrium of the heart, and from there to the left ventricle, and from there to the aorta. This aorta is further divided into many arteries which supplies pure blood to different parts of our body. Our heart is also supplied by blood vessels. We call these blood vessels coronary arteries, which helps our heart to beat. So I hope this gives a fair idea about the circulatory system in human being. Now let's understand the effect of exercise on circulatory system. Aerobic exercise, which is continued from a long time, will increase the size of the heart. As you can see here, non-athlete's heart and athlete's heart, the difference. Athlete's heart is bigger in size. It is because of regular exercise which is continued for a longer period of time. Athlete's heart can pump more blood in one single contraction compared to normal heart. The size of our heart is equal to our fist, whereas athletes they have bigger hearts. Lesser amount of pumping is required for a trained heart, which in turn will increase the lifespan of heart. We can see marathon runners have low heartbeat, and some marathon runners have just 30 beats per minute. You may remember that the normal heartbeat is 72 beats per minute. The third benefit, the recovery period becomes shorter. That is, pulse rate returns to normal rapidly. Or in easy language we can say, after a run, a person who is an athlete, who has an athlete's heart, he will recover much faster than a non-athlete. Non-athlete will take longer breath for a longer period of time, whereas athlete will come back to normal rapidly. With regular exercise, new capillaries are formed within the muscle fibers. Now let's understand what capillaries are. I have told you about aorta, which is further divided into arteries. These arteries are further divided into finer blood vessels known as capillaries. And it is through these capillaries where oxygen is given to the tissues, and carbon dioxide from the tissues is taken up, and these capillaries join together to form venules, which are the finer blood vessels which supply impure blood to veins, and this is how the blood is taken back to the heart. So these capillaries are responsible for the exchange of gases or internal respiration in the tissues. With exercise, it is found that new capillaries are formed. Many latent capillaries which have stopped receiving blood, it's open up with exercise. As a result, the individual feel more fresh and more energetic. Regular exercise also increases the red blood cells RBCs, which further increases the haemoglobin level in blood or HB level in blood, which increases the oxygen carrying capacity of blood. As we all know, oxygen is attached to the hemoglobin, making it oxyhemoglobin, and this, when the hemoglobin level increases, naturally the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood increases. Regular exercise helps to keep the blood vessels flexible and healthy, which helps to regulate the blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels. If the walls of the blood vessel is flexible, the blood pressure will be normal. When the walls of the blood vessels becomes rigid, people get high blood pressure, because the flexibility, it has lost the flexibility. Regular exercise is effective in lowering the cholesterol level in blood. As we all know, we have LDL and HDL. LDL is a bad cholesterol and HDL is a good cholesterol. Regular exercise will increase HDL, that is the good cholesterol, and it reduces LDL, that is the bad cholesterol. Bad cholesterol causes blocks and heart attacks, and thus the reduction in cholesterol, that is LDL, is very effective in keeping us healthy. Further, exercise also helps in the efficient circulation of blood. As you all know, when we exercise, our heart beats faster, which means more blood is pumped into our body. Our respiration becomes faster, which means more oxygen is taken in, and as a result, our body gets enough supply of nutrients and oxygen with regular exercise, which further makes us energetic. As a result of training, the individual can withstand a higher concentration of lactic acid in blood, and this delays fatigue and exhaustion. That is, the individual will get more endurance. He can continue activity for a longer time, as he has the ability to withstand higher concentration of lactic acid in blood. So these are the benefits of regular exercise on our circulatory system. Now let's understand about respiratory system, which consists of nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, lungs, right and left bronchi, and alveoli sac. The air rich in oxygen enters into our nostrils and passes through pharynx to our lungs. Our lungs is divided into two, and we have bronchial tree. This bronchial tree ends in alveoli sac, a balloon-like structure present in our lungs. Diffusion of gases takes place in this alveoli sac, which is surrounded by tiny blood vessels called as capillaries. Here, the oxygen-rich air which is taken up to the alveoli sac, and in the alveoli sac the diffusion of gases takes place. Oxygen in the alveoli sac is taken into the blood vessels, and the carbon dioxide present in the blood vessels is taken back by the alveoli, which is expelled out through the lungs. So this is respiratory system. Now let's see the effect of exercise on respiratory system. With regular exercise, the tidal capacity of an athlete increase. That is, the ability of the athlete to take in air. The amount of air which an athlete takes is much more than that of a non-athlete. Regular exercise also increases the vital capacity. As a result of training, the intercostal muscles which is present between two ribs strengthens. These muscles aid in breathing. So this muscle is responsible for increasing the tidal volume as well as the vital capacity in athletes. Regular exercise increases the efficiency of exchange of gases. and it decreases the demand of oxygen, resulting in steadier breathing. That is why you note a conditioned athlete breathe much slower than that of an unconditioned person. The time required for breathing to return to pre-exercise level is shorter in a trained person, which is as a result of regular exercise. And lastly, the efficiency with which the respiratory system operates is increased as a result of participation in regular exercise. This decreases the energy spent for respiration. As a result, more energy is saved for performance. Now let's understand our muscular system. We have around 640 muscles in our body. Our muscles help us to move. For the movement, we have trapezius. You can see the color of the muscle. The pink color denotes the trapezius muscle, which has got superior, middle and inferior part. And deltoids, you see the movements of deltoids, which is again divided into three: anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid and posterior deltoid. These muscles help you to lift your arm, abduct your arms. We have biceps by two muscles, which one having short head and the one having long head. You have triceps, three muscles at the back of your upper arm with lateral head, long head and medial head. You have pectoralis major, the chest muscles. We have two pectoralis major, and underneath it we have pectoralis minor. We have rhomboid at our back. There are rhomboid minor and major. We have latissimus dorsi. Obliques, you can see the obliques at the two sides of our abdomen, external oblique and internal oblique. We have rectus abdominis, known as the six pack. We have gluteus muscle, hip muscles, gluteus maximus, gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. Then we have quadriceps, which contains four muscles. We have the hamstring, which is the back of your thigh, which contains biceps femoris and semitendinosus and semimembranosus. In calf we have soleus, under gastrocnemius muscle, and many more muscles. These muscles help us to move. These muscles are connected with our nervous system, and based on the stimulus, these muscles moves. These muscles are further connected to the bones through tendons. So skeletal system as well as the muscular system help us to move. Now let's see the effect of exercise on this muscular system. Exercise, especially weight training exercise, increases the strength and mass of muscles. If you want to make your muscles big, we need to do weight training exercise, and it will develop the size of our muscles. Research has indicated that prolonged and high intensity exercise stimulates growth of new muscle fibers and increases the size of muscle fibers. So if we see a muscle, for example biceps, which contains two muscles, these are not two bundles, but each bundle is further divided into many muscle fibers. And these fibers, research has shown that when you do high intensity exercise, new muscle fibers are formed, and also the size of these fibers can be increased. As a result, the muscle becomes bigger. Then the muscle gains the ability to withstand stress for a prolonged period. We call it the endurance of the muscle develops. That is, you can use your muscle for longer duration of time. For example, the marathon runners, the endurance of their leg muscles are much more. The rowers, the endurance of their arm muscles are higher. So this is how with exercise you develop the endurance of your muscle. Color of the muscles improves. This change in color is due to the increase in the number of capillaries which is supplying blood to the muscles. Tissues that bind the muscle together, that muscle fibers together, it increases its amount and tensile strength. As a result, muscle becomes stronger. Proper exercise keeps the muscle in shape by increasing its tonicity. Tonicity means the partial contraction of our muscles. When our muscles are partially contracted, when the muscle is highly toned, and it adds beauty to our muscles. Exercise improves muscular flexibility. Our muscles fibers becomes flexible, which help us to do movements without strain and makes our body movements graceful and efficient. Let's understand about our skeletal system. We have around 206 bones in our body, in adult's body, and these bones gives us shape and also aids in movement. Now let's understand how exercise affects our skeletal system. Systematic exercise has an effect on the length and shape of the bones of children. Children develop their bones properly, and as a result the bone comes into good shape, as well as the length of the bone increases, which has a bearing on the child's height. Exercise improves the bone mass, thereby reducing the risk of osteoporosis, that is loss of bone mass and strength in old age. If we magnify a bone, we can see small pores or holes in the bone, and with exercise the density of the bone increases. As a result, the loss of bone or the holes in the bone, it reduces, and bone and ligament become stronger by the stress of large muscle activity. When we do exercise which involves large muscle activity, our bones and ligaments becomes strengthened. Ligaments are the structures which connect two bones. Now, regular exercise also prevent bone loss in elderly. As we age, we lose our bone, but this bone loss can be delayed through regular exercise. Exercise also improves our body posture. So I hope the lesson on the effect of exercise on 4 body systems is clear by now, and if you have any doubts, you can please feel free to ask me. Thank you.